So hi everybody and welcome to the fall season 2024 focus areas. So unlike other seasons where we would go through all of the basics, you can find all of that in the game management guidelines. Remember, it's only 6 pages. Please read through it and make sure that you follow those guidelines. What we're doing today is we're just going through focus areas. So there's quite a lot of new laws that we went through in the USA Rugby webinar. We'll cover a bit of them, but we're also covering other things that we really want the referees to focus on in both NARA and D1A in this season. And we're going to start with foul play. And foul play is a great area to set your standards early, right? What we mean by that is you'll notice when you watch a lot of international rugby that the referees play advantage for absolutely everything, right? So there's no skill involved in playing advantage. But what we want you to do is if you're going to play penalty kick advantage, just think about that. Is there an opportunity for advantage to accrue? Or, is it in a good scoring position? So take that into consideration. But when it comes to foul play, unless one of those opportunities are there, blow your whistle, set your standards. Everybody knows what's going to be allowed today and not allowed, right? And make sure that you put the onus on players to eliminate foul play. So don't debate about foul play, just get it out of the game. I'm going to show you a clip now where there's a foul play. There was a late tackle and a high tackle, and they in that team's half, and there's no reason for the referee to be playing advantage. Those situations, easy, blow the P out the whistle, everybody stops, and you can make a statement that we're not going to allow this today. So as you can see, the late tackle, easy decision to make. Just blow it immediately. Here we go to a high tackle, and then results in the ruck. Not real any quick ball. All the defense is in place. Chance advantage is going to accrue from this. Not that high. Next thing is a crocodile roll, the gator roll, as known. It's now prohibited action. So in other words, back in 2007, when they brought it into sevens, grabbing a player around the body and rolling them out, not allowed anymore, right? So when we look across the international games that have been around recently, that it seems like it's mostly out of the game, it's going to always be a penalty, depending on how dangerous it is. And we'll show you what's a penalty and maybe a yellow card, and we'll show you what's definitely a red card, right? So this will be a penalty kick or yellow card. You can see the player in greens going for the ball, grabbed by the body and rolled out. Not necessarily dangerous, right? The next one is very dangerous. The next one, the player is rolled and rolls onto the lower limbs of the player. You'll see it's very dangerous. If you can see that as a referee, that would be a red card. One thing that we said to referees is when you approach the breakdown, you're always approaching it from a 45-degree angle, right? So maybe if you just give yourself a little bit more room, maybe a meter or a meter and a half, gives you a bigger picture of the breakdown, right? But hopefully, because the act of a crocodile roll is completely outlawed, that you'd be able to notice it immediately when it happens. And don't forget that the neck roll is still a yellow card, right? So if there's a neck roll, of course, it's a crocodile roll, but it's around the neck. It's always going to be a yellow card. So just be aware of those because they might still happen. But a neck roll is never just a penalty. it's always going to start at a yellow card. Depending on how dangerous it is, might even escalate that. Tackle height. So new law that's come in is below the sternum is legal target area for tackling, and above the base of the sternum may be penalized, right? So what we're talking about here is an open play. You can't tackle above that area, as you can see in these clips. Those in open play, remember, if it's pick and go, the body's already low, not running at speed in open play, you're not going to penalize someone if they tackle in that area. And look at the guidelines that we put out. Gives you very good direction on what you can and cannot do. So remember that if it goes into head and neck contact, that you still go back to the head and neck contact sanction protocols, right? So just think about these, that you might have more penalties because of these higher tackles, but not necessarily more yellow and red cards, right? Because the yellow and red cards still came from head and neck contact, right? So remember, direct high force, red card, direct low force or indirect high force is a yellow card, and indirect low force is a penalty only, right? Follow the sanction framework that's in place for head contact, not for the sternum, right? It's only if those are combined and there is head and neck contact that you would go to this. Free kicks, no more scrums from a free kick. So it's a speed up play. And unfortunately for those teams that have got very dominant scrums, you can't just keep scrumming and getting penalties. So that's out. Free kicks at scrum, you have to take the free kick. Free kicks at lineouts, you can choose a lineout. So don't forget that you can choose a lineout or take the free kick. Catches the mark. What's changed here is that the player is injured and they can't take the kick. The teammate can take the kick, right? It's not going to be a scrum. Balking or dummying at a tackle with offside lines or a ruck or a maul or a scrum. It's a free kick. Can't select the scrum. Wasting time, it's a free kick. Can't select the scrum. And in general play, remember, I mean, we don't see this very often anymore, but lifting and supporting a teammate to catch a ball and not lowering the player to the ground safely when the ball's won is a free kick. And of course, you can't choose a scrum if you have that situation where you award a free kick. In front of kicker has changed quite a bit. So the old law, this player here, if they were outside of 10, they did not have to retreat. The new law is they all have to be retreating, right? So plays in front of a teammate who kicks the ball must retreat until they've been put onside. And they can be put onside by the kicker or a teammate that was onside. Plays in front of the kicker and within 10, where the ball lands, was played must actively retire until they're onside, right? So in that 10-meter area, if they're in that 10-meter area, they've got to move. And also remember, if the ball is kicked into touch, those players are still offside if there's a quick throw situation, right? But it's something that you have to manage. If the opponent kick receiver intentionally touches the ball, plays the ball, or kicks the ball, offside retreating players that are further than 10 meters from where the ball is played are now onside. Remember, players still in 10, if they're retreating and they catch the ball, doesn't put them now onside, right? They've got to keep getting out of the 10-meter area, but players further than 10 will now be onside. We're going to have a look at this clip, and this is an interesting clip because you have this player over here that they put their arms in the air and they're like, oh, I'm onside, but obviously an AR called a sin. You as a referee, what we want you to do is we want you to look both sides, right? So you're going to look left, you're going to look right, you're going to make sure that everybody's onside and you're going to manage those players, right? And then to make sure And the other thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make sure that you remember the mark of where they were offside. And you can see in this situation, when they eventually award the penalty, that they're about 7 or 8 meters away from the mark. They actually end up awarding the penalty over here somewhere where it was over there, right? So pay attention, get the marks right. And you'll see that player put their arms in the air and then off they go. They just start running, right? They start running and they're offside. So you as a referee, you can manage that. And especially early on, the games players move and tell them to be retreating. Everyone knows they have to be retreating. And you'll see in the next clip is a really great example of the referee actually managing the situation.
Boys inside.
They can see blue are going to kick the ball. All these players in front.
Retreat, blue. Keep retreating. Keep retreating. Now.
As you can see, blue are all retreating. And they're outside of 10 meters. So when the player plays the ball, they can join the game. Excellent managing by the referee, right? So the interesting thing that came up is that we said, how fast do they have to retreat? We definitely want players that within 10 meters, they got to get out of there quicker. You know, players that are outside of 10 meters, there's no law that says how fast they have to be retreating, but they have to be retreating. They have to be moving until they're put onside. This situation here, if the player can't kick the ball 10 meters and their players are in that area already, they're going to be offside, right? It's impossible for them to be onside. So as a referee, it's difficult to manage. If players can't kick the ball 10 meters, they'll be penalized. Right, all those players are still in there. Very, very difficult situations. Easier to just penalize them. You know, if they don't want to be penalized, they need to kick the ball further than 10 meters or further. Breakdown. Most of the game is built around the breakdown. It's really a great opportunity to set your standards from the outset and maintain them. And it does not mean go and look for penalties, but identify opportunities to set your standards, right? So if early in the game, tackler is not rolling away or tackler assist doesn't release the ball, you can penalize them quickly. They've already slowed the ball down. Unless it's close to a scoring situation, you don't necessarily need to play advantage, penalize them. Both teams, the defense and the attack, can absolutely see what the decision is for, and they know what the standards will be on the day. And a lot of this is built around positioning. And we're going to look at the positioning here of a referee. This is the beginning of the game. You can see the referee, they get to the breakdown quickly, they arrive at a 45-degree angle, they're on the attack side facing the defense, managing the game, right? And keep moving, get back in 45-degree angle position, manage the game, face the defense. And of course, the one thing that's come in now is that with these kicks, you really have to actively manage players to be retreating. Again, the referee's in 45-degree angle, managing the game. And again. Arriving at the breakdown from a consistent position of 45-degree angle, you can see the breakdown, most of the breakdowns with a similar view, which means that your gate, the way you're going to blow the gate and manage the offside lines will be a lot more consistent. So just think about your arrival always being from a consistent position. So you're seeing the game similarly on most occasions, which will help you to be able to, what you call for one team, call the same for the other team. And that's all that teams really want. And again, the referee is right there, right? There was a line break, referee's in position. Managing the offside lines. It's great refereeing. And he's got to do that for 80 minutes. Right, ball out at the breakdown. So the scrum half may move the ball back with their foot. If they use their hands to roll the ball back, the ball is out. Okay. And you as a referee, we don't want you to be announcing that the ball is now out. But if the opposition asks you, you can say yes, or you can say no. Right? So it's up to you on how you're going to manage that. But you don't want to start announcing and say ball out, right? But you know that the ball's out, and the teams will know that the ball is out if they use their hands to roll the ball back. They may hold the ball on the ground. The ball is not out. If they lift the ball, it's out. But if they move the ball without lifting, you know, a lot of times they're holding the ball, and then they sort of lean to see if the defense is going to jump the gun. That's a free kick, right? They can't do that. Now, as a referee, you're going to call use it, but only when the ball's available to be played. So don't call it too soon. Make sure the ball's available to be played. And you can do that by arriving at the breakdown early and being able to see the ball, and you know that the ball's available to be played, right? So don't call it if the ball's not available to be played. You're going to say use it. And on the first occasion, they got 5 seconds to then use the ball. On the first occasion, before you call a turnover scrum, you're going to say use it now, right? So, and then they have to use it immediately. And if they don't do it, then you're going to blow a turnover scrum, right? But what you want to do, and that first time say use it now, and they use it, you want to manage that player and say to them, like, you know, you just got to be quicker at using it, right? So you want to be proactive, you want to manage it, and you want to be a little bit empathetic, especially early on in the season, right? So here's a situation in the game. It's pretty much one of the first breakdowns that the referee says use it. They blow turnover. It's really awkward. Turnover scrum results in a try. You know what I mean? Just show some empathy to the game. See, the player touched the ball with a hand there and rolled it. They can't do that. And then they also did the little sort of balk, right? They can move it back with their foot, hold the ball in one place, and then lift it and play it. Manage it, as we said, manage it. Right. Line out. Line out must be formed without delay, and that means that players approaching the line out have to continue to move towards the line out. So in the clip that we're going to show you, the players are always moving. And in fact, it only takes 30 seconds from actually before the kick to when the ball's thrown in the line out. So it still gets, the line out happens very quickly, even though the players are moving very slowly towards it. As the players are moving, they can discuss what their call is going to be. There's no need for them to stop and have a meeting, right? If the players stop, the referee is going to blow the whistle and it can tell them to come into the line out. The reason why you blow the whistle is because you don't want to be interrupting whatever they're saying. You're blowing the whistle so everybody can stop. Tell them to get in the line out. They got to keep moving, right? And you're going to manage it. And if they keep doing it and keep having these meetings, you can just free kick them. So here's a great example. You see the white block on the right-hand side here? It's a 30-second counter, right? And it's counting down. They kick the ball into touch. The players are discussing what they're going to do, but they keep moving. They're always moving to the line out. And they form the line out. And it's only around 30 seconds. The player runs up, tells them what the call is, and they're ready to play. 30 seconds. So we don't want teams to be delaying and just having a meeting every time there's a line out, right? Keep moving the line out, joining the line out. So in the guidelines, we have the throw must be straight. And what it means throw must be straight is where the players, remember, they're a meter apart. So in this area, they've got to throw the ball. Now, the one thing that we just want to say to referees and coaches, remember that's a pretty big gap for them to throw the ball in, and you've got to manage it. However, if players are really jumping into the inside and they're catching the ball out here, it's very difficult to play through that, right? So we're just saying that to teams and to referees, you've got your area that you're going to manage it at, but also remember that, if the players are going to catch it outside the head, many occasions the referee is going to call that not straight. This one here is very marginal. It's probably be able to play through it, but it's very difficult. Ball above the head, it's the easiest way to referee this. Right. Line out position at the goal line, and we've talked about this for years. Attacking line out, stand on the defense side at the back. Remember, in these competitions, we don't need any referees. I mean, you don't have professional ARs. We don't need any referees standing at the back on the line of touch with their arms out, pretending to manage the back lines, right? You're going to stand at the front of the line out. It's especially a good idea to be in front of the line out early in the game, but you can manage it from there. You make the mark, you manage the game, and then you can alternate between the front and the back on the attacking side. When you get close to the goal line, say within 10 meters, attacking line out, stand on the defense side at the back. And the reason why you do that is if a team breaks through to score, you will be right there to see it. If the ball gets caught and a maul forms, you can come around to the attacking side and follow the maul moving forward, and you'll be able to see. But the thing is, on the attack side as well, if the ball's caught and taken down, if you're on that side, you can see if there's obstruction on the catcher. If players are binding in front of that catcher, right? You can see all of those things. So you can still be very accurate being on that side. But if they break through, we don't have TMO, and on most occasions you won't have an AR. You've got to make the decision. You've got to be on the spot to make the call, right? And we look at this this game here. It's a really great example. The referee is standing at the back. Of course, they have TMO and they have professional assistant referees that can assist them. But look how quickly they get into in goal. There's no way the referee could have seen any of that, right? AR called it, and if both of them missed it, then they would have gone to a TMO. But you can see it happens so fast. And you as a referee should put yourself in a position where you can actually referee this and make the right call. So that position would be here on the defense side. As you can see, it's over here, right? So when they quickly come through, you as a referee could just be right here, just move across and they'll score. If a maul forms and it's more static, then you come back on this side and actually manage the maul and follow it into in goal. And we'll show you in this next example. Now we actually want the referee to be standing here. And when this maul forms, what you would do as a referee, if the maul's moving, is very quickly move back to this side. And your job is to know where the ball is, right? So this position here is not ideal. You want to know where the ball is. So you would come behind here to see where the ball is, and then you'd either manage it from the left or the right. And in this case, you would be on the left. So you can see the ball and you can follow it through. Now, if that ball moves that way, you can come around on this side. If the ball's moving this way, you're here, but you have eyes on the ball and you want to be here and you want to follow it all the way in to be able to see them score. And I know it's very difficult for referees because you don't want the ball coming towards you, because chances are you actually seeing them score is going to be very, very slim. You want to follow that ball in either on the left or right side, have eyes on the ball so you can actually make the call. And you can see if the referee was on this side, they'd be in a great position to actually see the try. And where the referee was, in this case, Very difficult to see. If you followed it in, you'd be right on the spot. 100% accurate, very important. Kicks that go into touch. So, we're just talking about where you award a scrum, right? Or just in general play, if you're going to say you're in the 22, or you can say taken back into the 22, taken back into the half. If you have a scrum on the 22-meter line or 50-meter line, team putting the ball in, you're going to assume it's in their 50 or in their 22, right? And the same thing for lineouts. Just make sure that you manage it. You just have to say, it's in the 22, it's in the half, or it's not, right? So especially on the 50-meter line, I'll show you a clip where the ball's kicked directly into touch. They had a scrum on the halfway line. Always be considered to be in that half. So I think as referees, we just want to focus that we remember the 50-22. We make sure that we take note of where the ball was kicked from, where it goes out, because you might have touch judges, sometimes you might have ARs, but if you don't, you need to know that it's a 50-22 and whose ball it is, right? Moving on to the scrum, of course, the basic safety is always priority. You're going to make a mark. The hooker's right feet are going to be left of the mark on either side, so that you can be sure that you got them interlocking. You got that position, and that the player in the hooker position has got the 1 foot forward for the break foot, both teams. Each of the 3 calls should result in an action by the players. So remember that you're going to set it up, and what we want you to focus on, especially with the loose set, is make sure that their shoulder is out. You don't want the shoulder tucked under their hooker. You want the shoulder out, shoulders in line, and then they're going to crouch. And make sure when they crouch that the shoulder is still out, because you want tight head to be able to go somewhere, and you want everyone to go straight. Don't rush it. Be patient. If everyone's moving or unstable, restart the whole process, right? Stability is essential at each step of the process. Be patient. If any part of the scrum, as I said, you just actually restart the process. It's really that simple. And we talk about this every single season, is referee every scrum to scrum. Know what happened last scrum. If the scrums are going well, you have to know that they're going well. The last scrum was fine. If you're managing something and it starts working, positive affirmation to the players to make sure that you continue to have successful scrums. And the scrums can turn on a dime, right? I mean, it happens so quickly that the changes, players might get tired. One player might have been struggling early in the game, and then they become dominant, or you get substitutes that come on the field. Always referee and manage the scrums. And I think we saw the other day, uncontested scrums. It's an international game. If players run out of front row players and it's because of an injury, they're going to play with 14. It's a yellow card or red card. If somebody else comes on in the front row, they've got to take another player off. Only for blood subs and foul players can have uncontested scrums with 15 players still, right? Foul play, if a front row player was injured by foul play, so that's why they can't provide a trained player in that position. So that's all. Those are the focus areas. Very short and brief. Remember to go through your game management guidelines. If you have any issues, please feel free to reach out to us. But, focus on these and attend the meetings, because week to week we will identify areas that we're going to work on so that we can keep improving throughout the season. Thank you.